Hello, hello, folks. How are you? Just give me 1 second. Hello, everyone. I hope you're all doing great. I'm going live on a lot of different spaces, so I'm trying to get all of this stuff working. So give me 1 second while I get all my technology stuff worked out, and I figure out how to do this. So I hope everyone is having a fabulous day. Give me 1 second, sorry. You do things and you fail forward, right? Okay, so good afternoon, everyone. I hope you're having a wonderful day. I was super inspired to do this live today because I wanted to share with all of you my journey. So most of you, if you're new to me and new to this world, you might be thinking, wow, this chick has got it all together, or you may not think that, but a lot of people that come across my world think that I'm super confident, you're always so positive, and you have so much energy. And most of you might be mistaken in thinking that I was born this way, right? Or it comes easily to me. And you might say to yourself, well, it's easy for her to do that or turn up on camera and say those things because she already has it all, right? So I wanted to dispel whatever myth that you might have around the fact that this stuff might have come easily to me, or I was born this way and it's easy for me to be creating and living the life that I live, right? Because it's so easy to be on the outside, see the success that someone else has, and tell yourself there's no way that I can have that because I'm not like her, okay? If that's you, give me some likes or say yes in the comments, all right? I want to hear from you because we've all had those kind of thoughts and feelings, right? Where you look at someone else's life and you admire it, or you might even be jealous of it and might covet it and want it, but tell yourself that's not available for me because that's just, I don't have it in me, right? So I wanted to come and burst your bubble and share with you some of the things that have knocked me on my butt and that I've had to claw my way out of, not climb my way out of, but literally claw my way, because sometimes it feels like you can never get out of that cave. All right, so if you're on here live, don't be shy, say hi. And I'm sorry to be looking away from the camera because I'm trying a new setup to see whether there's less glare in my glasses, which I don't think I'm succeeding with, but we'll go with it. And so to read any comments, I do have to turn to the side, all right? So excuse me while I look away. So the first thing that has knocked me on my butt is the 2 rounds of depression I have faced. I talk about it very openly now, but the first time I faced, severe depression was right after I got diagnosed with my autoimmune disease, which is part of it's on the list. And then the second time I experienced pretty bad depression was after I had my first child. There were days I did not want to get out of bed. And that's a shameful thing to admit, right? I see and I hear I hear from a lot of potential clients, and they are experiencing some form and some level of depression. And it's very shameful to admit it when you're going through it at the time, because you feel that you are broken, that something's wrong with you, that you weren't made right, that your brain is not programmed the right way, right? We turn it all inwards, and we find fault within ourselves, right? So I want you to know that I have been there, where I have felt broken, that I have felt there's something wrong with me. Why can't I just snap out of it? And the way that I clawed my way out of it was to seek help, was to tell people that I am not okay and that I need help. And there is no shame in asking for help. And that's why I turn up on Facebook Live and I talk about it over and over and over and over. And I know it upsets my family very, very much, not my husband. It upset my parents very much because they feel that I'm making myself vulnerable by sharing all these things about me. And I love them, and I love them deeply and dearly, and I respect them so much, and I know that they're coming from a place of love and wanting to protect me. But I do not see it as anything shameful. I see it as a thing that I've just gone through in life that has made me stronger, and I am grateful for what I have experienced and gone through, because it has made me into the woman I am today. So that's one of the first things that I wanted to share with you guys that has knocked me down in life. So if any of this is resonating with you, please share in the comments, because shame, I wrote a post yesterday that shame breeds in silence. Okay, that's not my quote. That's a quote that my coach has told me, and I find it so profound. Shame breeds in silence. The only way to break down shame is to share with others what you're going through, and that's what I do. Okay, so let's break down the stigma that is around depression, okay? And it's not a shameful thing. Own it, share your story, so that that shame that you feel around that experience disappears, okay? So that's the number one thing. The second thing is the abysmal performance review that I received in my last job before I left corporate America. So I am a perfectionist. I am a high performer, okay? I just saw, hey, Brett, thanks for joining me. I've always been a high performer. I'm very ambitious, and it kills me to not be the best at everything that I do. And so I remember in my performance review, I'd been working at my company for about 3.5 years, and I thought I was doing pretty great. And it was my first review after I'd come back from my maternity leave. And I'd been gone for 5 months with my new baby, and I'd been back at it for 3 to 4 months. And I thought I was doing so great. And I got to my performance review, and my manager just tore me down. I mean, she was only doing her job, right? And she tore me down. She said, you're not performing up to par. You're not adding any value to the team. She said, you're just like kind of existing in this role, and that won't do, right? Oh my gosh. I cannot even tell you. I wanted a hole to open up and swallow me, because I was so ashamed that I wasn't performing well. I was so embarrassed. And I was just waiting for the other penny to drop and for her to tell me, we need to let you go, which of course didn't happen, but that's the worst place that your mind goes to, right? So I want you to know that I have received abysmal performance reviews, right? That wasn't the only time. I think almost every corporate role I've been in, my performance reviews have never been that great. I've never received, top performer or in the top tier. I've never received any bonuses to reflect the rewards that come with being a top performer. And at that time, when you're in that corporate role, it sucks so much, because I was so used to, like I said, being a high achiever and a high performer all through my academic life, right? Academic work came easily to me, but I struggled in the real world of work. And so that's another thing that knocked me on my butt, knocked me off my feet onto my butt. But you know what? Again, that's another experience I am super grateful for, because it was like the straw that broke the camel's back. And I was just like, I'm done. I'm done with corporate work. I am done with working for somebody else. I am done with allowing others to make me feel bad, right? And that's what gave me the courage to walk away, along with the fact I was feeling an immense amount of mom guilt of leaving my baby with a nanny while I was working. So when I got this terrible performance review, I was like, right, that is the last straw. That's all the reasons, right? I'm taking that as my sign that it's time to leave. So I did. Again, grateful, because it made me stronger. It made me step out and, go down this entrepreneurship path. And if that hadn't happened, I never would be here, okay? So the third thing that I am knocked me on my butt is, oh my gosh, I wrote a list, you guys. I'm trying to pick 5 from here, okay? Is all the times that I have ever doubted myself. So I'll give you, this is real talk. After I decided to step into my coaching business, I did not make a penny in this business for almost 10 months. I went for 10 months without making a single dollar as a coach. So can you imagine the amount of doubt and fear that ran through my mind month after month after month when I saw 0 clients? I was ready to quit. I was thinking that maybe this isn't meant for me. Maybe this is the universe's way of saying you're not meant to be a coach. But I hung in there, because you know why? Because when I was giving away free coaching sessions, I used to do 1-hour free coaching sessions, right? 1, to build up my confidence, and 2, to show people that, hey, we exchanged our energy, right, for 1 hour, and you got so much out of it. So why don't you let me help you for an extended, 6 weeks, 12 weeks, whatever it might be. But at the end of every free discovery call I used to do, I was lit up, you guys. I felt like my energy levels went through the roof, okay? I was so happy. I was singing, I was buzzing. And so after every coaching call, I'd be like, this is what I was meant to do. There is no way that if I wasn't meant to do this, it wouldn't feel this good. So despite the fear and the doubt, and despite the $0 months, I kept going. Okay. And I can hear a lot of you saying, I don't have that luxury because I don't have a husband to support me. Hey, I get it. We all have our battles, right? My life is, I cannot compare it to your life, and you have your own struggles. And yes, you might not have the luxury of a husband who can, afford to keep the roof up while you are working out how to make profit in your business. And I can't help you with that on this call, but there are other ways where you can keep your faith. So anyway, that's the third thing that I wanted to share with you guys, is the doubt and the fear that I faced in almost 10 months when I didn't make a single penny. But you know what? The last 3 months of this business has been the most money I've ever made in my life. So there's a reason that you go through the struggles that you go through, okay? The fourth thing that I wanted to share with you guys was the time that I absolutely tanked my GMATs. I remember I'd moved to the US. I was pretty sure I was facing depression then as well. I was so lonely, but I never got diagnosed as depression, right? Because I didn't even think it was an issue. I thought I was just lonely. But my husband kind of pushed me to sit for my GMATs, which is what allows you to go do an MBA, right? It's a standardized test that everyone's got to go through in order to get into a master's level program for business. So I sat my GMATs, and I suck so bad at standardized exams. And sure enough, my scores reflected that. So I felt awful. I felt, of course, I'd almost failed, right? It was below average. And I knew there was no way that I would be able to get into the program that I wanted to with that standardized score. But you know what? My husband pushed me to go talk to the director of the program directly. And he said, just go talk to her. What do you have to lose? I was shaking in my boots. I was putting all my self-worth into that score, right? That's what defined me in that moment. And I did it though. I sucked up my fear and I went and talked to her, and I told her, allow me into this program. I realized my GMAT scores don't reflect it, but here's my undergrad degree score, right? I graduated in the top 3 in my program in England. Here's my work experience. I was like, just let me in through the door. And I said, I will not let you down. And I talked my way in, and she said yes. So I have no idea where I got the courage from to do that. Well, I do, because it's part of my core personality. I don't know where I find the strength for those moments to show up for myself, but I always have in the past. And on hindsight, it is so perfectly crystal clear that I've always had that immense amount of self-belief in myself, but I've never seen it. I have never seen it so clearly up until recently, okay? The final thing that I wanted to share with you guys that you might not know about me is my autoimmune disease. It is a huge part of my life, and I talk about it all the time. And again, this is another thing that my parents wish I didn't talk about so openly, because they're worried about how it will reflect on me and my family. But you know what? My autoimmune disease is a huge part of me, and it's a huge part of my story and of my transformation and the woman that I have become today. And at the time I was diagnosed with this disease, I hated it with every cell and fiber of my being. I hated it with every cell and fiber of my being. But after living with that disease for, I forget how many years, maybe 8 years, 9 years, I had this epiphany one day, and I just said, I cannot live my life this way. I cannot live my life this way. And it was like a light bulb went off in my head. And that was a pivotal moment in my life. This disease that had knocked me off my feet and had me crawling literally on my knees, ultimately, I needed it because it made me the woman I am today, because it put the power back in my hands. It showed me I had the power to heal my own body. Like, what the hell else can I do if I can do that, right? So I will forever be grateful for my autoimmune disease, and I still live with it to this day, but I am so grateful for it. Every day I wake up, and it's a very small part of my life now. It doesn't control me anymore, but it reminds me to take care of my body. It reminds me to take care of my spiritual needs. it reminds me to put myself first. And that is what I'm most grateful for my autoimmune disease. I had forgotten to take care of myself. I had forgotten me. I'd forgotten what I needed. And that's why this disease showed up in my life. And so over time, this disease brought me back to me. So now I never forget to put my needs first. And whenever I do that, my disease is taken care of. It takes up a very small part of my life. It doesn't take up any energy from me. And we have a very beautiful symbiotic relationship. So I hope all of that gives you an insight into the fact that I've always had it, I haven't always been this put together, and I haven't always had this positive outlook on life, that I might make it seem like it's effortless. I might make it look like I have it all calm and cool on the outside. I get that a lot. People are like, I don't understand how you do it all. Like how you have, time to go out with your husband and have this great relationship with him, how you manage to be a stay-at-home mom in some ways with your boys and run this business. And it's something that you love. Like from the outside, it looks like I have it all together and I make it look easy. But you know what somebody told me? That if someone's making it look effortless on the outside, that means they've put a shitload of work into it on the inside. And they are so right. And they are so right about that. So I don't want you to feel like you cannot have what I have created for myself because it comes easily to me. Trust me, it hasn't. I have just been willing to get up more times than maybe another person. I have just been able to dig deeper and believe that it's available for me, even in the worst of times, than others, okay? So the reason I share all of this with you is because I was so inspired to put together what I call a masterclass, okay? 90 minutes of where I'm going to be sharing with you all the ways to get unstuck, unfrustrate your life, and believe in yourself more. Because if I had to distill it to one thing that has turned my life around in every single point of falling down, right? The things that I have shared with you, it's this invisible belief in myself, right? In some places it has been weak and almost invisible. And in other times it has been so strong that was the only thing that was leading me on. So I am offering a 90-minute masterclass, and I will drop and pin the details of that comment, okay? But for the first 5 people, I'm making this super affordable. I don't want to make it, where people are like, but I can't afford it, okay? So if you are somebody who's quick to take action, then you're going to be super lucky, because the first 5 people to sign up for this masterclass, it'll be $37, okay? And after that, I'm going to take it up to $57. So get in, because the price is going to keep going up. For the first 5 people, it's $37. For the next 5, it's $57, and for the next 5, it's $77, and then for the next 5, it's $97. And trust me when I say you're going to want in on this 90-minute masterclass, because it's going to help you realize how much power that you have. And we're going to build that self-belief muscle, because I hear so many people say, I believe that you can help me, but I don't believe I can help myself. Oh my gosh, that drives me crazy. So that's why I created this masterclass. I want to help you build that self-belief muscle, okay? Because when you start believing in yourself, trust me, you literally become your own superhero, okay, or superheroine. So I'm going to drop the link for the $37 price, and as soon as that's filled out, that link will go away. And let me tell you when it's going to be on April 23rd, so 2 weeks from today, and I'm going to keep it at midday that day, so 12 o'clock, 12 p.m. is what I'm going to do it. Alrighty. Okay, so I've announced the details. I can't wait to see who are all going to be enrolling. All right, take care, folks. I'll speak to you soon. Bye.